Hi everyone, it's Jeannie again. I have a quick layout share and I thought I would show you the products that I used and then show you a little bit about my process and then show you my layout. This is the items that I used were kind of a conglomeration of a bunch of older hip kits. I was in the hip kit club for like 6 months, starting in like December of last year up through like spring, April or so of this year, and I really liked it, but I just didn't have a lot of time to scrap with all the changes I had going on, so I decided to quit getting it. But I put kind of all my kits together, like I put all the papers in one and all the embellishments and stuff like that. And then I decided to, and I still don't have my scrap room completely unloaded and organized, so it's better. I can actually do a few things, but so it's a little bit better, but it isn't, I don't have access to all my supplies yet. A lot of them are still boxed up, so I only really had those items to work with, plus a few things that I have bought along the way. So I thought I'd show you what I used. I used a combination of Jubilee by My Mind's Eye. So I used actually this paper, and this is what it looks like on the back, but I didn't end up using any of the dot. There's some more of that. I ended up using a little bit of Heidi Swapp September Skies paper, and it's actually this large black and white stripe that you see here, and actually some of the ephemera pack from September Skies. I love this collection, and I just would like to say too that my heart really goes out to Heidi. I don't know her personally, but they had a tragedy in their family, and I feel like I know her family because I've been a fan of hers for so long. So anyway, just my heart goes out to her and her family. But then I also used some Amy Tan paper from the Stitched line. So this was what I used. I actually used a little bit of both sides of this paper. So the kind of the ombre triangles and this black pattern, which I really liked. And then I ended up using some Teresa Collins of these little enamel dot shape things, and also the Jubilee dots. I also used a few items from this Pink Paisley Hey Kid line. I think this was one of the ones that they did for Joann's. So there's those. I did use a little bit of the Amy Tan Stitched ephemera pack, and then also some of the Jubilee. And like I said, I think all of the stuff except for the Pink Paisley came in some of the kits. And I tried this. I should say this layout too was really heavily inspired by Kate Kennedy at KraftinKate and Wilna Furstenberg. I wanted to try some mixed media, and well, not really mixed media, but I got a watercolor set and I tried that technique where you smush paint on packaging and then kind of smush it onto your layout, and that's what I did here. And this was initially my background, and you can tell I just used, this is Basil Avalanche cardstock, and I just used regular cardstock for this, and so it did warp a little bit, but this was initially what my background was going to be with the focal point centered, but I didn't end up using that. Once I actually got it together, I didn't end up using it, and I ended up using, I'll pull the layout in now, I ended up using my this was actually the test paper that I used to try out the paint colors, because I had to mix some custom colors for this, and I just have that cheapo set of Artist Loft watercolors from Michaels, and that's what I used. But in this Jubilee line, the colors are kind of, I don't want to say off, that doesn't sound right, but they're just not your typical colors. For instance, this teal is more blue than green, and it's kind of a dark a dark teal, and then the hot pink was pretty straightforward, but it had a little more orange in it, and then the green had a little bit more yellow than your normal lime green. So I had to actually mix some colors, and so I was testing them out. Same with this kind of this peachy pinky color, and so I was kind of testing them out, and was the page that I was using. So I just did little swatches on the test color, and I ended up moving everything over to this page. And this page was really a challenge for me, you guys. I really find it difficult to use these big prints, but I really wanted, this is actually a photo of my kids walking down Venice Beach in California, and if you've been there before, you know it's really, it's a really interesting place. It's kind of like another planet, and there's a lot of graffiti and just a lot of signs, and it's really colorful and everything. So I really wanted to use this paper because it reminded me of graffiti. Plus I loved what it said, but I also, you know, it was a big challenge for me. So I ended up, the Kate Kennedy portion of this page is the background and how I did that, and also I ended up floating the photo on some vellum because it kind of got lost in all of that pattern on the page. And then the Wilna inspired part is my border here on the side, and I just did that, you know, where I picked out embellishments that just matched the colors and kind of went down the side with the rainbow. And I've seen her do that, use lots of embellishments, and I love her layouts. So anyway, so I decided to give that a try, and overall I'm really happy at how it turned out. These letters up here are the Amy Tan vellum letters, because some of these little elements over here are vellum, and plus I used the vellum under the photo, and I like the way that turned out. And then I did do some stamping on these tags. I have the date here, and then just another little phrase here. But again, this is a combination of three different lines, which I don't do very well, I don't think, but it turned out okay on this page. So I'll give you kind of a little close-up of that. So I have some enamel dots and some chipboard and some die cuts, and like I said, it's not perfect or anything, but and then let's see if I can show you. Pull it over this way. There's the title, and there you can get a little closer look at the picture. So, and then I just, like I said, anchored this this black and white stripe at the bottom, because it just felt a little like it was floating a little bit too much, and I wanted something to balance out the title. But I just did a really simple small title because it's so busy, and I think I will go ahead and journal on the back of this one because it's just so busy. So anyway, just wanted to do a quick share. Hope you guys are doing great, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.